Well, hello, hello. Uh, First and foremost, can you give yourselves a round of applause for making it out tonight? Thank you all so much for joining us tonight at the Seasons Change finale. This will be the last one for 2025. And later on tonight, Sydney, the executive director of the Iredell Arts Council, will have an opportunity to share more about programming for next year. But for tonight, we're here to celebrate some phenomenal storytelling, poets, spoken word artists who are prepared to share their craft with you. Before we move any further, just want to get a sense of who's in the crowd tonight. Is there anyone here at the showcase for the very first time? This is your first time coming. Let's give it up for our first timers. All right, there's another group of people I would like to identify in the audience. Is there anyone in here who already has their Christmas tree up? Yeah, no shame, no shame. I see you. I see you. We got ours up. Well, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter how you got here, we're so thankful for you being here tonight. Prior to us bringing the artists up, just want to go over a few, let's say, cultural expectations. Sometimes it takes a lot for these artists to get up here on stage. So first and foremost, just want to make sure we show them love, create space for them to share their craft uninterrupted. That includes monitoring the movement during the poetry. There will be a break scheduled. I learned from last time. I tried to make it 5 minutes, and that wasn't going to work out. So we made it 10 minutes this time. Maybe that's still a little more wishful thinking. We'll see. Trial and error. Nonetheless, if we can try to avoid movement throughout the time. The second is just engaging with them. So anyone like cereal? Whenever my wife is going, that's like I'm not cooking. I'm just going to eat cereal all weekend type thing. Anybody familiar with Rice Krispies? And they had 3 characters. What are they? Snap, crackle, pop. Well, hopefully nobody snap, crackles, pop tonight. However, for the artist community, here are 3 ways I recommend you engage with them. You can snap, clap, or mmm. So snap, clap, mmm. Let's try it out. Snap, clap, or mmm. Mmm. Just like the snacks that was out in the lobby. Mmm. So feel free to grab water, grab snacks, especially during that break. Thank you so much to Iredell Arts Council for providing those. Any questions before we get going? You know, I was so proud of myself. I was like, hey, I had this script memorized. And I never said my name. So I'm Derick Lee, y'all. I'm your host for the night. This is my second time hosting the Poetry Spoken Word Showcase. And without further ado, let's get into our first artist for tonight. Our first artist is inspired by art, nature, love, and spirituality. The radiant poet strives to connect with others through her poetry. She hopes to inspire others through verse and metaphors to lean into the beauty of human connection. Can y'all please join me in welcoming the radiant poet?
Just go ahead and bring that all the way down. All right, so I'm the Radiant Poet. Hello. How are y'all? I like it lively. It's all good. There we go. But I'm just going to share a few poems with you guys and be out of your way. You already know what I'm about to say. This is untitled. And it goes like this. Regret climbs into my throat and builds a castle of words I've choked upon. My tongue wrestles my voice into a useless moat. No one drowns here except the shell of self wrapped in an invisible cloak of forgiveness. Unhinged ghosts and goblins gather in the hollow of my belly. They kill the butterflies and play ring around the rosy with my shortcomings in tote. Pocket full of forget-me-nots will return to ash by morning. I could not protect you from the bang of a bullet or the bite of retention. And the fallen angels gather with their wings, ready to flutter and fly away. Gabriel makes a last attempt at my salvation, but I have no interest in sparing self for spiritual force of nature who will corral my mistakes and label them worthy of repentance or sin or careless contentment. What happened to unconditional love and truth that settles in open sores long enough for them to scab over with grace? And as always, let's be a little lighter now. Just got to get that out of my system. This next poem I wrote today. Yes. Yeah, for my muse. When she tells me I'm beautiful, my body becomes an orchid ocean. On the surface, I am warm, inviting, and full of life. But there are knots in my throat as I stumble over my words, an attempt to catch myself before falling for flowers sprouting from her vocal cords. The rise and fall of my chest is an exercise in survival. How to breathe when your truth is suffocating under waves of emotion. I shape-shift the oxygen into thanks and reciprocity. There are no metaphorical butterfly wings to carry my scars, so they sink into my stomach, pour into my hips until the hurt feels half full. And this is the last layer of safety before the absence of light. She holds the weight of my flesh as my legs are a trembling carcass, afraid of simplicity and truth. And my knees remember the gravity of holding broken promises, but my feet remain rooted, planted in persistence, determined to dive beneath the depths of self-sabotage and destruction. And as she says, I love you, our love is a delta, and she is the river I give praise for, birthing new beginnings despite disputed ramblings from my anxious heart. We survive on patience while ignoring time, create a consciousness that thrives on the broken hands of melted clocks, and it's all surreal. A scene of mirrored bruises, learning to release blood back into the vessel we call body. And for the first time, I believe in gardens producing a bounty of truth. The orchids float above the surface as love arrives wrapped in healing, and I learned to believe in beauty beyond inundation. Thank you.
Keep it going for the radiant poet. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, prior to introducing our next artist, I have a curiosity. Are there any publishers in the building, and or do you know a publisher? Anybody know a publisher? I'm sorry, Christy. I tried to help you. Our next artist is a North Carolinian by choice, a writer by happenstance. Her first short story was Wuthering Heights, stating that she wanted to make Bronte's story better for third graders. Recently, her work was included in Bard's Poetica, an anthology of poems about poetry, and in NC Bard's 2024 anthology. Her current upcoming book is titled If I Spoke With You, and she is in search of a publisher. So if you know one, yeah, I'll hook a girl up. Let's give it up for Christy Darling.
You remembered stuff from last time. So since this is like seasons of change, I thought about, okay, we're in the season of winter time. So I went through some of my work and picked out some winter-themed poems. When you listen to my poetry, remember that these are all true stories. Seriously, true stories. I can tell you when and where these things happened, okay? This was probably 1959 when I was a child. This is called All Eyes Are on the Ceiling. Before Christmas, snowy Sunday afternoon, you drive us silently down the streets of Washington to the home of incurables, huge like a hospital, quiet like a temple, routine in its precision. Foul scenes of begging lepers leap from my white zippered Bible. Quick, a full-color rendition. Granddaddy pulls me straight away, devoted deacon at Western Avenue Baptist, a cavernous sanctuary of immersion built within confession hearing distance of the Church of the Little Flower, where I'd rather be at 9, pansy faces there, sweeter than soliciting salvation here. High flat gurneys shrouded in white sheets wobble down infinite marbled halls, echoing clank, metal rails fence sick children the color of rice. Men and women lay small without shape. Their ride terrifies me, then seduces me. Corralled around a rolling mahogany pulpit like a mattress sale in a high, holy warehouse, all eyes are on the ceiling, not the past, not the future. The birthday story then dispensed to sickbeds and wheelchairs, memorized verses mumble this church without pews. I am there to sing Silent Night again, medicating high notes after the petition, before the Beatitudes, soothing infected hearts. They take no offering, there are no pockets. Poinsettias stand vigil. My tiny carol stirs air fragrant with swabbing and ointment. I am the only child with shoes. I am the only child who doesn't know why she is there. Thank you. Thank you. I feel that. I feel that. Okay. This is a true story also. This really happened. It's called Burying Your Prayer Sticks. I walk into the woods to cast prayers for you, you beyond the realm of form. Embracing indigenous ritual, I divine living dirt, unearth a hollowed space. It leads me to you, dying in your sleep. Tears like fast erosion swallow my intentions. I hear the earthworms making waste between a rock's resting side. Curious witnesses watch. Emptied, I kneel in dead leaves, digging with my hands to clear the perfect place to place your prayer sticks. You are fixed now beyond the chant of love songs streaming airy lifeways. Sucking the finished wind closer, I hold human air beside my unstrung heart and forget to breathe again. Memories fill this hole. Our story spills around me. Our union is put to sleep. I can't stop dreaming the words. At night, your voice wakes me. I hear no lyrics I can't recall. I feel you singing like a mighty river, pouring your music on me like touch. At dusk, I plant these yellowed vines dressed in ribbons of fear and yarns of remembrance beneath the cold black loam, this winter's only wealth. There, in this plain ground, our seasons will compost. I want you to sense me, my heart wrapped around these roots as I graft our family's tender tree, calming the wildness. Gleanings from our life fertilize the hungry shoots that carry my future skyward, sluicing silver white clouds, sleek blackbirds, authentic watchers, caw into the wind. From their throats, your final amen. Have I met my time limit? Can I do one more? You're a good man. He'll be rewarded in heaven. This is a true story, too. It happened on my front lawn one December in the 1980s. This is called The Certain Dreams of Deer. So visualize what's going on in this poem. Her stare steals space inside my plans as we meet on the frosted winter lawn. The fawn's cold skull trails wet beads of limp-hung vertebrae spilled from the mongrel's humid, silky, wet mouth. I sense we each want what she has. Within her trophy, the seamy, still brain is clear to see, like a caged sea creature left too long on the shore. This treasure, I'm drawn to have it too and know its mysteries, tied tight in symbiotic veins. Are they simply membranes bound to beasts? Meals retrieved from the hunter's hidden skinning? Would this organ cast spells? Tell secrets not penned in graying alphabets or in the breathy whispers of hoary genius? We commence a tug of war between my cold, curious hands and her hot, clutching mouth. She chokes and pulls this intrigue in, then speaks aloud and drops the skull beneath her. Bloodlines spill on old, hard snow. This porous, thin crown screens a seeping ooze. The dog grabs again, startled eyes fly wildest open. Hunger and instinct reflect their face in each black lens. I reach again between white teeth and panting breath until a sudden truce evolves our needs willingly away and frees this ivory box into the certain dreams of deer.
Can we give Christy another Switched it up on you. All right, one more time for Christy. And let's get it up for the artists who have books and merch for sale inside the lobby. Gotcha. And this next artist is one of them. Ted Jackins is a writer, musician, and multidisciplinary artist from Statesville. Their work seeks to describe the world through the cracked lens of bipolar disorder. They're the author of multiple books, the most recent of which is titled, But Did You Die? From Two Keys Custom Press. And they have copies of the book tonight. So be sure to check them out after their performance. But in real time, let's snap it up for Ted Jackins. Let's clap it up for Ted.
I made it. Yeah, that was, I don't know why that was such a struggle, but I'm going to read two tonight, and one is a shorter piece, and the other is a bit longer. This first one doesn't have a title, but it's sort of like a mission statement. An artist is a creature of vices, so yeah, I subscribe to a steady diet of menthol whispers, cannabis daydreams, sleep late and eat too much or too little depending on my mental health. But in between, I split open my chest wall and bare my soul to the world, chasing inspiration at the end of a candle that burns at both ends, which is always easiest to find in the darkness. And this one, well, you lost David Lynch last year. He's one of my favorite film directors, artists. Just, I'm somebody who does a little bit of everything, and he did a little bit of everything, and I've just always been very attracted to that. So I wanted to write something for him, and I've been really taken with the concept of the list poem, which is just, one line listing, like things attributed to the subject. So this is a bit of a list poem, and it is called "Sometimes the Question is More Important Than the Answer" for David Lynch. A mystery's solution is never as important as the mystery itself. There's as much pathos and poetry in a patch of oil on summer concrete as there is in all the love songs in the universe. Time is never linear, it moves in every direction all at once. There is beauty in decay. Meditate a while on the duality of the self, the many masks man wears, and the fact that we are all someone different in everyone else's eyes. Remember when to be a silent observer and when to be a willing participant. Sound and image are frequently in flux. Stalk static still through keyhole-thin alleyway of the mind. Sometimes a red door is just a red door. Find grace in the mundane. Never try to one-up your audience. Coffee and cigarettes count as a meal. Daydreaming counts as working, and dreams move like time, as great black oceans through space holding their own internal logic. And if you follow closely enough, these patterns emerge, and we call those patterns stories. The camera is the inner eye, and the eye sees all. If you dream aloud, the world will awake. The diner is the heartbeat of every American town where the people come to share their secrets. Every shadow has something to say. The setting is always any time, a blank slate you can mold endlessly. Continuity be damned. The way a person smokes a cigarette tells 1,000 stories. Speaking of stories, they are important. Plots just get in the way. Be in love with your work and the work of your collaborators. Be a chain-smoking cheerleader. Don't be afraid of vulnerability. See a grown man cry. Characters can and will change shape before our very eyes. You can't have darkness without the light. Be that light. Write every idea down, even bad ones. The most beautiful flowers grow from dung. Every story is a love story. There's a safety and a happy ending. And remember Chekhov's rule about the smoking gun. Remember the rules of 3. Approach film as a moving painting. Even every photograph is a sketching with light and shadows, sculpting a few frames per second. Never lie to the audience. Death is only one kind of ending, but it is never the end. Art is a constant combination, disappearing act and tightrope walk, all smoke and ever-shifting broken mirrors. Remember, the audience is the last collaborator. Invite them in, then lead them into your slow-motion logic along ticking internal rhythm. Invite them in, then show them how to dance. Editing is another art form entirely. Find the spirituality in the everyday. Learn to say more by saying less. At the end of the day, we are all actors in the theater of the absurd. Art is life.
Just a reminder, Ted and other artists have those books and merch for sale. Let's give it up one more time for Ted. I think if you hear, then you know that the title of tonight's event is Seasons Change. This event typically happens quarterly, and obviously we're in the midst of that season's change as we graduate from fall to winter. With that stated, in celebration of the upcoming holiday season, just want to play a little game with y'all. Feel free to just shout your answers out, whichever you prefer. If you know, you know. Let's go with Would You Rather. Turkey or ham? Turkey. I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect that overwhelming turkey, but we got a couple of hams in the house. All right, let's try the next one. Okay. Matching pajamas or ugly Christmas sweater? Matching pajamas. Give it up for my wife in the building tonight. You want to wave your hand? I wasn't on the matching pajamas wave until we got together, so I appreciate you for introducing that into my life. All right, I got one more for you. Home Alone or How the Grinch Stole Christmas? So we in favor of parents leaving their children, losing their children like 5 times in a row? Like how you lose your child every year? That brings about some more questions. I'm not gonna lie, I probably would go with How the Grinch Stole Christmas on that one, but who cares what I think? I do think that one word to describe the next artist is dynamic. She is a spoken word artist who has been captivating audiences for just over a year with her raw, heartfelt, and fearless poetry. Though originally from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, she has been residing in Charlotte for the past 10 years. She was the headliner of a sold-out show earlier this year and was recently honored with a poetry award from one of the most prestigious healthcare systems in Charlotte, North Carolina. A proud nominee of the 2025 Queen City Awards Poetry in Motion, she continues to make her mark across the Carolinas as a featured artist and performer, sharing her powerful stories that move hearts and sparks inspiration. Tonight, she's here to inspire you. Let's give it up for Be Poetic.
How y'all feeling tonight? Wow, okay, here I am again. Feels good. I'm gonna do something I don't normally do, and that is read from my phone or perform from my phone. So I'm gonna do 2 pieces. With the recent events that's happened in Charlotte this week, a poem was inspired by that. So I'm gonna try this call and response with you guys. I really hope y'all play along. So when I say no, you say ice. No. Ice. No. Ice. No. Ice. I live in a city with Queen in her name, yet people are being detained beneath her crown. Grocery store aisles turn borders. Parking lots turn into an interrogation room. Teenagers, my brown kin, are forced to stand up like grown men. Rivers flowing from their eyes, hands trembling from ice too cold to answer the questions they were never taught how to survive. And how does this country hate immigrants more than pedophiles? The nerve of this country to be named land of the free when the hands we caged are the same hands that built the foundation this country stands on, the same hands that did the work nobody else wanted but everybody built on. Brave. Crazy how brave stops at skin color. Like it hit a boundary the moment the skin shade gets darker. Like brave only shows up when the room is pale enough to make it feel safe. And don't let a child get torn from the sanctuary they found in their father's arms, leaving their mothers praying hard enough to split heaven in half. And somehow, brave covers its ears with pride. This country draws a thin line between love and hate. The uniforms of hate just keep changing. White sheets used to cover their faces, carried fire in the palm of their hands like scripture. And today, the intent is still the same. Only the fabric changed. They don't hide in the shadows no more. They don't wait for midnight. Now they hunt in the daylight, look like badges, carry briefcases to work, tailored suits in courtrooms, ammunition dressed as degrees, make America great again stitched in white on red hats look more like a warning sign to me. I live in a city where we call it Queen. We protest through these streets shouting no kings. Ain't never been the city to fear what ain't solid. You will not silence us, no, we will not hush. Cold weather ain't never made us shiver. One thing about us is we always liked our ice crushed. Poem. Thank y'all. So this next poem is one that I did last time I was here, but we're gonna try and get through it this time. If you know, you know. So this poem is to say that I see you, I hear you, I feel you, and it's dedicated to you. I thought faith was supposed to feel like peace until my knees buckled. And every time I threw my hands up to heaven, life shot down another burden that cut my oxygen. No air left in my lungs to breathe, broke my spine in two. Tasted the blood of unanswered prayers on my tongue. My thoughts turned into a game, and the devil never missed his shot. 6 months into this year, and it was already feeling like hell. Seems like my scales have forgotten how to tip toward grace. You see, the bills stacked up like the same odds that were against me and showed no mercy. Depression knocked on my front door and made my house his home. Anxiety strapped up her heels and marched on my chest like a riot that would never end. My hallelujahs bent all out of shape. I screamed them, and heaven still pretended not to hear. My praise turned into a white flag on the battlefield. And here I am, staring down a pill bottle at 6 a.m., pleading with my own reflection, please fight back. And I wonder, how do I supposed to keep breathing when every breath feels borrowed? How am I supposed to keep fighting when life constantly hits me with a KO? I no longer recognize myself. You see, I used to wear joy on my face like Sunday's best. And now, joy is a memory my face can't recall. And I'm unsure when my reflection turned more obituary, when the mirror started writing eulogies in my own breath, when I started surviving more than living, but I stumbled across a scripture, Psalms 121, verse 1-2, that says, I will lift up my eyes to the hills from which comes my help. So I looked, eyes heavy like levee, vengeance swelling all in my chest, rage all in my thoughts. I asked, why me? A voice whispered back and said, why not you? You were built for this. Said, I knew your name before you ever knew who you was, a champion, built for chaos. Said you were meant to walk through the fire without smelling the smoke. Said to sit at his right hand and let me make footstools out of what tried to bury you, and every piece of shade that was thrown would be my shelter. Said vengeance was never mine but his, and I didn't need to sit across the board because he had already called checkmate. You see, even in the valley, he was my beacon of hope. Said to trust God with all my heart and let him handle this storm. And as for me, I'll show them what survival wrapped in glory looks like. The true definition of never folding under pressure. To keep my head up, my crown upright, in a cemetery full of doubt, and just like that phoenix, I rose from the ashes and called it resurrection. Thank y'all.
Yo, let's keep it going for Be Poetic. and the power of artistry and messaging. Y'all, we transitioning to the point where we're about to take a short break. So we've allocated 10 minutes. It is currently 8:05. So 8:15, let's make our way back into a room, get settled in so that we can get back to those storytelling and poetry. Again, check out some of the artists inside of the lobby. Be sure to grab some water, grab a quick snack, run to a restroom. I'll see y'all at 8:15. Hello, hello, and we are back. As people make their way to their seats and transition in, would like to give an opportunity for us to hear from the Executive Director of the Iredell Arts Council. So let's please give a warm welcome for Sydney.
A little more. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Iredell Arts Council. I see a lot of new faces here, so I just want to say welcome. I also want to just highlight a couple of things we have coming up on our schedule. I can't believe we're in November, towards the end of November. I started last November, so it's full circle for me, yeah. And honestly, guys, I don't know if you felt like this. This week's been hard. The news has been hard. It's it's a hard season for a lot of people with the holidays, and I feel so grateful to have this job because I get to surround myself with artists like you guys and art lovers, and I think that's so important for healing and community. So I just hope we lean on each other during these hard times. So here are some events you can lean on each other at some hard times and come to. So I want to highlight Josh Dickens. He's upstairs. He has a wonderful community event for artists or art lovers. I sometimes come, but it's on It's November 24th. So that'll be a makerspace here at the Arts Council. So he'll have a lot of free art supplies, and it's really just to build community amongst artists. So I hope you guys will come out and support Josh and Artist Escape on the 24th. I also want to highlight on December 4th, we have our Iredell Arts Council member art show, and that's an event where it's free to the public. We will have artists set up here. Donna will be here. Is Donna still here? Hey, Donna. Donna is an artist. She's a photographer. She'll be here selling some of her art as well as many other local artists. I hope you come support them. And you can also go check out the downtown tree lighting. Will be that same night. So it'll be a fun, festive night to support art and build community. I also want to plug the Full Bloom Film Festival is having a film screening of the movie Elf, which we have to support. That's on the 16th in December. I also want to just briefly give a quick shout out to Shelly in the back. We're sharing a table tonight. Shelly is starting a spoken word night up in Mooresville at Fred and June bookstore, and I guess their debut is December 4th. So I hope you guys support that. She's also looking for poets, so Shelly, raise your hand. Go talk to Shelly if you want to get on the schedule and the lineup. So I know it's really important to support other startups, and this is a big night for Shelly on December 4th, and it's going to be fun, and we can't wait to support that as the Iredell Arts Council. Okay, I feel like that's all the big things coming up. I also want to encourage you guys to follow us on social media. We're building our programming for 2026, and it's like the coolest thing in town. And you guys got to come, and you guys got to support it. And we have so many great artists, and we're going to have so many artists coming from all across the country to perform for us. So I hope you guys will get connected with the Arts Council. Wave me down if you want to learn how to do that. So I'd like to welcome Derick back to the stage. And how great is Derick? Derick is really taking on spoken word night, and he's such a gift to the Arts Council and to the spoken word community. So welcome back, Derick.
Appreciate y'all so much. So fall is actually like my favorite time of the year. It's nothing like the leaves change in color to remind you that you're getting older. Childhood memories like trees in autumn. My, how the hue of these mental images have changed. They dangle, desperately holding on for dear life until they fall, delicately swaying side to side with the slightest breeze, until they meet their final resting place, forgotten about a call for a white Christmas, but I do remember the day our childhood ignorance collided with the cruelty of the world. Y'all, we thought Debbie Cakes would cost the same forever. Scavenge, dirty jeans and couch cushions, scraping up quarters, that we were rich enough to buy the whole corner store until we were slapped by the realization. What's your favorite snack cake? They raised the price of all the Twizzlers to 50 cents. Our first sign that without warning, life as we knew it was destined to change drastically. I miss the days we weren't afraid to get dirty, just scared to leave our muddy shoes on the carpet. I miss the days we rode our bikes all the way across town, but our respect for mom rules had us racing to the crib because it was getting dark soon. We never knew that the last time would be our last time. We are trading our two wheels the moment a member of our crew got their first whip. Epitome of carpool, teenage bodies splashed over passenger seats. We just knew that Honda Accord was our ticket out the hood forever, just to be driven to the worst hood of them all, adulthood. Y'all, I miss when boys wore basketball shorts under all of their jeans, ashy knees ready to hoop at the drop of a dime. Shoot, had I known I'd been 6'3", I would have spent more time in the lines doing layups, dreams of paychecks like NBA players before we ever knew how IRS took a pay cut. Like, dang, why they want to stick me for my paper? I miss Saturday morning cartoons and Captain Crunch. I miss late night conversations on our Nokias, but only after our minutes were free, when there were no debates about going 50-50 on rent. We just discussed how we would meet each other halfway on the dance floor at prom. And as Cupid shuffled our emotions, we clung to the idea of an everlasting slow dance because we all knew everyone around us ultimately had to go our separate ways. With each new diploma, job promotion, ring, and new branch to the family tree, our see you laters slowly grow more distant, desperately holding on for dear life through the season changes. And now, I'm just standing here left with these childhood memories like trees in autumn, and I can't stop these leaves from falling. Thank y'all. Thank you. I'll be here all night. What an honor and privilege it is to be here tonight and just indulge in this great artistry. And it's that much more of a privilege to introduce our next artist, Natalie, a.k.a. Trini-licious. I feel like I got to add a little s at the end. Can y'all help me with that? Go Trini-licious. It's proudly from the beautiful Caribbean island of Trinidad and Tobago. She is an entrepreneur, author, singer, songwriter, and spoken word poet who aspires to touch hearts, change lives, and most importantly, leave behind her legacy. Let's give it up for Trini-licious.
A pleasant good evening to each and every one. How are you guys doing tonight? As you sound from Trini-nish. I can't do it. But so, as you said, I'm an author, singer, songwriter, poet. I've been on this stage many a times, and it's just an honor to be here tonight. And then for the new guests, welcome. So I'm going to do, I like to kind of put my poems on what's happening now. So because it's Thanksgiving is coming up, and, you know, we're seeing a lot of things going on in this world with food, etc. Those are my two poems. It's about being thankful, especially now, the more than ever. So the first one is called Give Thanks. And this is actually a poem, which is a poetry song. Give thanks with a grateful heart. Give thanks to the Holy One. Give thanks because he's given Jesus Christ, his Son. And now let the weak say, I am strong. And let the poor say, I am rich because of what the Lord has done for us. So give thanks. So that should be it, right? So why am I thankful? One may say, I'm thankful for God's blessings he gives to me every day. I am thankful for the food that was just brought to our door. No more eating rations or leftovers because we're poor. Have faith, trust in him, and he will make you strong. And eventually you will find a place where your true heart belongs. Pray, don't lose hope. Give thanks to him, my son, because one day all our victory will forever be won. Be thankful for your shelter and the clothes that's on your back. Be thankful that the provider gives you everything you lack. And if there is ever a time you seem to lose your faith, be thankful that he has a place for you at his heavenly gates. You see, once I was weak and my journey was long, so he mended my soul from the ones that did me wrong. So I'm thankful for forgiveness that he supplies true and true, and I'm thankful that he shed his blood for both me and you. Let's see. T is for the time he takes to hear our prayer, and H is for the happiness he gives to show you he cares. A is for the Almighty that died to save our sins, and N is for new beginnings of all the trials and wins. K is for keeping his commandments as we all promise to do. F is for the forgiveness that always carries us through. And U is for understanding that he will forever see us shine. L is for the loving way he teaches us to be kind. So being thankful is a heavenly gift and the word that we just spell. So remember to put God first, or you guys' butts will go to hell. Thank you. I need Jesus, don't I? My second poem is called Thanksgiving Madness. All is thankful. I'm hungry now. Hold on. Gobble, gobble, gobble. The world is in trouble. The turkey are celebrating, saying it's time to clap back, whispering to each other. These humans don't even have snap. Okay, that's bad. But that's bad. Focus. The chicken. The chickens are about to turn into Cornish hens, and the potato salad you all crave is no longer your friend. The world is in chaos, as everyone can see. Thanksgiving is not what it used to be. We say we are thankful and we look up to the Lord, but we're doing things every day that leaves him appalled. So please be aware, a new season is here. So instead of Christmas gifts, show a homeless guy you care. You see, people will remember the kind things that you do, and in order to grow, you have to pull through. By walking the righteous path, as the leaves, you will fall. But the nice thing about us humans, we will forever conquer it all. They say unity is strength, and with that, we gain power. So stop hating and trying to deport your fellow sisters and brothers. Tomorrow is not promised, as we all can clearly see. So why are we still living in hypocrisy? So how about we turn around and we regain what we've lost? This country we call America, the place we once knew and loved. Thank you.
Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate you. Before we transition to the next artist, I have to say that I don't know when I started this, but I had this like urge of like, whenever I'm saying bye to people, I just like, on my Zoom calls, I don't even say bye no more. I need y'all to take that, I need, grab it, and y'all put that in your pocket, save that for later. All right, our next artist. She's been writing since she was a child, and she loves sharing her art with others. Cheryl Peace is a writer, poet, and spoken word artist who has been a Charlotte resident for over a decade. Her poetry encompasses her experiences as a woman, daughter of an immigrant, and truths of overcoming and becoming. Now, usually, we might clap them up to the stage, but go ahead and take that piece out of your pocket. Yeah. And as Cheryl Peace comes to the stage, y'all just hit her with the... Hey, we signing out of Zoom right now. Give it up for Cheryl Peace.
I've been dealing with that joke probably my entire life. The number one question I get when it comes to poetry is, how did you come up with your poet name? How did you come up with Cheryl Peace? That's such a cool poet name. I'm like, it's my legal name. So thank you for that, Derick. So the pieces that I'm gonna read tonight is really a reflection of what's going on in our city and the world. And as Derick stated, I am the daughter of an immigrant, and as you know, what's going on and what happened in our city has really shaken us up. And I really deeply resonate with some of the poems that were performed tonight. So the first two kind of go together, and then I have one after that. And so this first piece is called I Showed You the World, But You Only Saw War. My father credited himself for showing my mother a world she never grew up in. Took her from her home, painting her pictures of passports and palm trees, and whispered, "Come along with me." An immigrant status labeled on her feet, I called her a modern-day woman of Woody. That was a toy in his story. Every step she took reminded her of what she lost. Every step she took felt like she swam the length of the ocean between her worlds, still hoping that the immigrant imprint on her feet would mark the ground in case she needed to retreat. But he was confused. He said, I took you out of foreign lands and helped you see a new world. So he asked her, how is it that you only see war? And so she replied, you hold the flames in your hand and act blind to the forest fire. You push me off the plane to skydive, but never attach the parachute. You tell me a new world is magic, but I don't see peace because you make it disappear. You drive past explosions and label me the terrorist. And even still, when I think about it, when I think about my mother, I walk into my home and I notice how I've always been obsessed with maps and globes, how they cover the surfaces of my walls, and maybe it's my way of coping, to be reminded that I still feel lost too. Thank you. So again, continuing this theme of just being the daughter of an immigrant and my identity, this second piece kind of goes along with this one, but it's called How to Love the Pandemic. I heard someone say once that the pandemic didn't surprise them. It didn't shock them, scare them, or cause them to react in the frenzy that while the whole world seemed to be losing their mind, they remained still. Why? Because they had been living in a pandemic their whole life. I too believe this for the following reasons. I am a woman. I am the daughter of an immigrant. I am of mixed race. I grew up in the South, and many people think my mere existence is an abomination. I am African American, Egyptian, Native American, and German. People are often confused by this and think my Egyptian blood puts the bomb in abomination, wish I would blow up with it. I am African American, Egyptian, Native American, and German. People are often confused by this and think my Egyptian blood puts the bomb in abomination and wish I would blow up with it. I grew up not lower class, but poor class. There was no glass half full, there was no water to even pour in my glass. I went without basic necessities. Everything was stretched too thin, including me. I started fighting to live before I got the chance to. You see, PTSD has far more repercussions than flu-like symptoms. Your fatigue is replaced with paranoia. Your fever is replaced with heated anger from your situation. Your nausea is replaced with sleepless nights. You see, my entire existence has been a pandemic, an infestation of abused power, inequalities, reasons to give up, a disease of the mind, body, and soul. I searched for a vaccine, a cure, but there was none for someone like me. This kind of phenomenon was stronger than fiction, that I could compare my very existence to a disease that startled the world. But if my whole life has been a pandemic, this is how I've grown to love it. I am the intersection of identities that make up every fiber in my being. I feel the pain, comfort, and belonging to all parts of me. It's a rush. My thoughts sometimes want to jump off a plane and go skydiving, hoping to land in a place that makes sense and where I belong. Sometimes they keep me up late at night, but I silence them. That's why we stop talking as often, but I never give up. I own every part of me. No more code switching, covering up. I create my own space, my own way to live, and I live in it. So that's the magic of magnetism, how the universe aligns despite tragedy, how it can remind us how unique and special our very existence is. If my life is a pandemic, I have grown to love it, and I have decided to remain beautifully sick. Thank you so much. So the last piece that I'm going to read, I recently performed this one. It's a newer piece, and, and it's called Magic. As a child, I believed pens were magic. I thought they would never run out. I was used to every system and person failing me but a pen. I could pick it up, watch it marry my notebook paper so beautifully, and be convinced that betrayal wouldn't always be my norm, that an inanimate object was more promising than the life I was given, that hope lived in the universe and knew I needed these reminders to keep it alive. I remember the day my pen's ink ran dry. I glanced over to the pencil as it smirked because it knew it was time to show me that my ability to give up on its purpose still left me with disappointment and heartache, that it was a more blatant reminder that almost everything is temporary. The pen is just better at masking. It knew that I too would realize that my mind was the only one planting magic tricks, and that I would soon understand that betrayal comes in all forms. That I too put too much weight in other things and hoped that it would save me, that I was looking for any sign, desperate to know that anything could give me the missing elements of my life, that this idea of magic, the idea of something appearing when I need it, would fill the void of watching people disappear out of my life, vanish from my memory, leave me helpless and stunned by their tricks. That this is when I realized that my voice, the words that brew in the depth of my belly, that erupted from my bones, were the true form of infinity. That I knew that I held the answers, the power, that no matter how many pens I extend to their end, their final moments, host funerals in memory of the pain that emitted from its ink, that my words, my truth, would be cemented into the minds of the people that receive these words, that somehow my words were gifted with immortality far beyond my days and would live on forever. Thank you so much.
Listen, I didn't mean to unearth any childhood bullying, you know. Well, I will say we thank you for being a vital piece of our community. Let's give it up for Cheryl Peace once more. And now I would like to transition us into a very, very special part of our night. So if you don't know, these showcase are structured in a way where we have showcase artists, but we have one feature artist for the night as well, where tonight's feature artist will offer a longer set curated for the artist. And so Shane Maynard is a poetry coach, educator, visual artist, TEDx keynote speaker, trauma-informed care instructor, and national spoken word poet based in Charlotte, metro region of North Carolina. She is the founder of Guerrilla Poets, a nonprofit art collective, and the founder of the National Poetry Month Summit, an online summit that connects and supports poets all across the United States. Shane is a treasure to our art community. She is a connector. She is somebody who cares about people on the human level. And I would like to just take the time to really set the stage for her, curate the environment where we welcome her with positive energy. So just a reminder, snap, clap, Can we get some snaps? Can we get some claps? Can we get some You got any other requests? Ooh, can we get a ooh? Let's make some noise for Shane Maynard. Ooh.
Oh my God. I needed this tonight, y'all. Thank you. On Monday, at the alternative school where we have our poetry and art program, only one student came. Our students already have to deal with their houses being shot up, being removed from their homes, drug addiction, horrendous, horrific trauma. What's one more, right? So this is for the ones who were told they won't make it, whose life was denied by statistics, whose only test they ever passed was the ACEs given by their therapist. This is for the ones who sat in the back of the class, who had to grow up too fast, who always forgot their homework because home wasn't a place they could turn to. This is for the ones who stumbled into school with no sleep, bellies telling the time by their rumbling, whose bodies became fire alarms, who were constantly called to the principal's office for being a disturbance. This is for the ones who had to carry the burden of their parents, who brought tears and challenges to the eyes of their teachers. You, my dear, are the real life changers. I know that you were told that you're too much, but it's only because you've seen too much. So when they tell you you're a lost cause, don't listen. You are not a product of your environment. You are a human being, and you got choices. You are not your wound. You were only wounded. If they want to hit you with a label, tell them to diagnose you dangerous, because you're breaking generational traumas and changing the status. Tell them even though you failed math, their math ain't mathin', because you don't fit into their stereotypical equation. You got resiliency, trajectory inside your DNA. You were born with determination. Listen, I know that road is a long one, but you got everything you need inside that spine of yours. It's carried you this far. It will carry you forward. This is for the ones who made it, despite everything they were given, who didn't ask for it, who never got the help they needed or deserved, who graduated just to prove them wrong. They don't get to tell you who you are. When you are the superhero this world been waiting on, so baby, put your cape on. You got work to do. No matter what you've been through, this world is gonna be a better place because of you. Now, they say that what you've been through can lead to what you were born to do. And that might be true, but I think we often confuse our worth with our work, especially when it feels like a calling, like destiny is knocking. June 6th, 1984, my birthday and the day the game Tetris was released. You know, the one with the blocks that fall and that banger of a song, do, 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 do. You could say I was born, nay, destined to beat the game. Now, in case you're not a nerd like me, there's only around 3 versions of the game you can beat, which shout out to Willis Gibson, age 13, who finally beat the original Tetris by crashing the game at level 157. The version I beat was on PlayStation. Picture it, as 2004, I'm at a party feeling hella socially awkward, and there it was in all its glory. A controller, and those multicolored blocks on the screen like it was set up just for me. Now, somewhere around level 67, people started to take notice on their way to the bathroom. A crowd gathered on the couches, and they were all cheering me on, bumping with the song, do, 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 do. Suddenly, the screen went black. Everyone gasped before pixelated fireworks burst above the words, "You won." The room went wild. And then, everybody left. Went back to the party. So I just hit the reset button and kept playing. Anyway, did you know that Tetris was the first game played in space? Proving that even when no one's around to see you win, you still feel compelled to beat the game? Tetris actually has its own medical condition. It's called the Tetris effect, an occurrence when people spend so much time on an activity, it starts to pattern their thoughts. In 1994, a study showed that after long days of playing Tetris, gamers would actually lay awake at night and still see the shapes fall in the darkness. Do y'all hear that? Do, 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 do. Where'd everybody go? How'd I get so alone? Can anyone hear me over this song? Do, 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 do. How long have I been playing? Stuck in a cycle of achievement, projects piling like boxes to knock out the finish line, only for the dopamine to vanish beneath my fingers. Truth is, no one gives a shit when you win, and all you get are crappy fireworks and 2 little words before it all begins again. Do, 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 do. And the better you do, the faster the blocks come at you, the more you're expected to improve, to prove you deserve a space in the room. But the room is just another box. Tetris blocks are called tetrominoes for a reason, because trauma blocks in high achievers. They are made of 4 shapes, 4 walls, 5 squares, like 5 days. There's never any breaks. It never shuts off. There is no boss. You are the boss. Do, 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 faster. There's never enough time. Everything just gets louder, cramming yourself into a calendar till your shoulders become T-squares, turning with your to-do list. Sacrifice everything, even your relationships, till your buried and busted bones turn to dust under all your forgotten accomplishments. Because the truth is, no one puts the career bio on the funeral pamphlet. You could say, I was born to die by the game, because I never got the confidence to be enough at a party, let alone a conference, without having to prove I'm good at something. Pivoting my symmetry to fit into society. When did captivity equal safety? Dear Willis, the price for winning is to become the pattern. I hope you enjoyed your fireworks while they lasted. Please know that you don't have to keep the levels stacking. You are worthy without those two little words flashing. You won. Be careful it doesn't become the only thing carved on your tombstone. My parents didn't get a tombstone. I got the urn, though, and the memories. Growing up, there was this song that my parents always played in the car, and I didn't realize why until I became an adult. The song goes, "Promise me, son, not to do the things I've done. Walk away from trouble when you can. Now it won't mean you're weak if you turn the other cheek. I hope you're old enough to understand. Son, you don't have to fight to be a man." My dad was one tough son of a bitch. Came up from nothing, deep in the mountains of Chuckey, Tennessee. A real mountains man, a real cowboy. That's why he named me Shane. And I was a daddy's girl all the way. Y'all, one time when I was 8, I saw him stab an undercover cop in the eye with a hunting knife during a poker fight. It was wild. I even got to see part of the trial. When I told this story just as passionately to my half-sister, she said, "Oh my God. No child should have to go through that." And that's when I realized the memories I thought were badass were trauma, explained years of my own violence. When I was in high school, I wanted nothing more than to feel the clink of teeth across my knuckles. Violence became a language. It was more than just a habit. My dad, he had this habit of walking into a bar and yelling, "Which one in here is the biggest, toughest son of a bitch?" And one night, y'all, a man told him, well, he'd go get his gun and we'd see who the biggest is. The way I heard it is, my daddy calmly nodded his head, walked to his truck, got his gun, and shot the man dead. I didn't get to see that trial, but I remember daddy being gone for a while and mama being afraid. You see, in our family, fear shows itself as rage. Plot twist, that man actually got off on self-defense, but they say there's still another body buried somewhere in the mountains. Years later, I found out my biological mother stabbed her ex-husband while he was asleep on the couch. And I'll tell y'all a secret. I'm terrified I'll end up in the same situations as my parents, trying to untangle trauma from tradition, generational curses from lineage. I really need God to respond to my text messages because I got one hell of a question that might carry hell with it. If a person is capable of murder, do you think it's hereditary? They're doing studies on the murder gene. How much of my DNA could be linked to a DOA, an RIP? I got trust issues with my cell tissues because there's still a part of me that feels weaker without the anger, thinks that if someone is upset at me, they're coming, because in my family, that's exactly what it meant. So what's the difference between paranoia and threat? Is it a lie to cry wolf if you actually believe the wolf is coming? And the irony is, most days I feel like the wolf thrown to the humans, trying to live in a world that operates the opposite from how I was raised. Look myself in the face and not see a cascade of caskets, my pupils, 2 barrels in front of 2 itchy trigger fingers. Plot twist. The kid born into the gang gets to go free because daddies don't survive long in this environment. I just have to worry about the blood backfiring in my bloodstream, handed down the haunting of all the men my daddy killed till it becomes a prayer I sing for peace. So promise me, son, not to do the things I've done. Walk away from trouble when you can. It won't mean you're weak if you turn the other cheek. I hope you're old enough to understand. Honey, you don't have to fight to be a man. I learned a lot from my dad. But I think one of the most important things I learned was the night my dad was drunk outside the Mayflower restaurant. He knelt down, placed his hand on my shoulder when I was 7. And he pointed up to a crescent moon with a star next to a steeple, and he said, "Look, remember this." And then he staggered off to the car. And for a while, y'all, he left me in the parking lot. So I stared and stared until my eyes fell backwards into my face, became black holes, and sucked the moon out of the sky. Y'all, my dad taught me how to see, how to listen, taught me there's poetry in every instance, taught me to interpret the forgotten languages. Later on, when I was 8, he deemed our poem Invictus, wrote it on the back of his toolbox in black, and we would recite it over and over down long roads. Y'all, my dad taught me about long roads. Taught me when you are fluent in the tongue of the world, you must also know control. Taught me what it means to be a poet. When I was 5, no lie, a snake bit him, and I watched this man bend down, grab it by both ends, and bite that snake in half. My dad taught me how to hold the devil in my mouth, how to spit him back out, how to swallow sin and speak deliverance. Taught me this life will wiggle. You got to grab it by both ends. Now that he's dead, I tell the stars themselves, look, remember this. Every time a poem supernovas at the black hole of my pen, because I may be the vessel, but I am still the captain of the ship, and God may move through me, but I move the God in them. Then stagger off into the crowd while they lay hands on me like butterfly pins. This becomes reverse revival. The moment my foot leaves the stage, I am the one now led to slaughter, and you get to be the savior. So clear a path so my blood could Jordan its way to Jesus, spitting a stiff stanza to be a staff of Moses with me rocking and a rolling on the waters of my passion, because I still to this day got all of Noah's wilderness stampeding around in the ark of my rib. You call me lion, call me pigeon, call me shepherd, call me a crescent moon threatening a star at saber point, holding the entire night for ransom. By dawn you will bear all your nakedness, a strip in each sentence. Tell me that shit ain't powerful. So the next time a poet says, look, you better be paying attention. Sometimes, though, I feel like folks be paying too much attention. Y'all ever walk into a room and it's like all eyes are on you? You feel like they're judging you? I do. It's why I spent $300 on makeup. True story. $200 more on hair products. And still couldn't cover up the ballistics of trauma. Couldn't flat iron the breakage from the split ends of my roots. I sliced a smile into my face, thinking I could jack-o'-lantern my way into being more approachable. But it just left me hollow as a hollow point. You could throw Louis Vuitton on it, but it's still a wolf in designer clothing. You can muzzle a monster, but your blood's still gonna curdle when it stalks into the room. You could put a 3-piece suit on the devil and still smell the brimstone cologne seeping out his breast coat. People who've been through some shit, they just walk different. Must be the scope of their shadow. No color-corrected contacts are gonna counteract irises that seem too much too fast. There ain't enough conditioner in this world to smooth out my rough edges. I'm tattooed with triggers. Got me feeling more at ease teaching poetry in a detention facility than walking into an upscale art gallery. I've been trying to hide my history, glossing over the gunpowder with a magazine, because the elite will always find a way to display the shotgun of your shame. And isn't it funny how the person who's always seemed as a safe space can just as easily turn into a threat around those who never danced with danger? And I got a fistful of thorns in my jaw from doing the tango. I'm tired of trying to make everyone comfortable with my presence when we all been through something. Some just carry it better than others, and the rest of us, we carry it as our purpose. It becomes us. So you show me your hands, And I'll point to the creases of your prayers and the layers of dirt hidden there and your lie of a clean innocence. Call me a devil, but no, that means I don't need an invitation to enter. You see, possession is a profession for those of us who had to fight for our right to be here. Go ahead, clutch your pearls and purses when I walk into a room. I'm a thief, it's true, because I steal the breath from the room. I'm a manipulator, it's true, because I'll make you question your conscience, breed your bias into something beautiful, have you confused on the circumference of the halo, make you wonder who's a saint and who's a sinner, only to expose that there's no difference. So keep your Maybelline, so maybe I can stop playing make-believe that I need to cover up anything as a cover girl. I won't Revlon the revolver of my tongue any longer. You can keep your mantra that your body be a temple. I'll carry mine like God built me, a fucking arsenal.
Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. For Shane, thank you so much, Shane, for being here tonight. And let's give it up for all of the artists tonight. Please make some noise. Again, this is the finale of this Season Changes spoken word poetry showcase. It's been a phenomenal year. I'm honored to be on the stage. My first time performing at one of these showcases was back at February, and somehow I got roped into hosting. But it's been an honor and privilege to be before you tonight. And so, as we sign out, make it home safe, drive safe, and we look forward to whatever the new year has in store. Thank y'all so much.